This is why having a baby monitor could be the scariest thing you ever buy. A dad in Michigan bought a baby monitor with his wife for their newborn. They wanted to check on the newborn while she was sleeping just to make sure everything was going okay. So the dad goes into the room and sets up the baby monitor and puts it at an angle on top of the shelf. So at this angle, the dad can see just the crib and the baby sleeping. So the dad and the mom start eating dinner and they bring the baby downstairs to join them. As they're eating dinner, the baby starts crying and the mom and the dad say, okay, well, the baby's tired, we're gonna put her down for a nap. So they lay the baby down in the crib, and keep in mind, this is the first night of the baby monitor. And what happens next will literally give you chills. Look, I literally have chills before I'm about to tell you guys. So in this video, the current temperature is 66 degrees. Watch this. The baby is sleeping, and watch the bear. Did you see it? Watch. Ready? Bam. Oh my God. If you guys want to see more of these, make sure to click the follow button right there. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your night. Peace out. This is why you should never use Tinder. So I'm sure all of us know what Tinder is. Tinder is the dating app that pretty much everybody goes through. Here's a crazy story about this psychotic girl. A father hopped on Tinder after recently getting divorced, hoping to meet some new singles. He puts in his bio that he's not really looking for anything serious. He's looking for more like a friends with benefits kind of thing. He goes on a couple dates and literally none of them are having any chemistry, so he keeps searching until he finds this one girl. So they meet up. Obviously, the date goes well, they go back to his place, and he ends up really liking her. But he informs her that he is not looking for anything serious, he's just wanting to keep it, you know. So the following day, his 3-year-old daughter broke his phone, and here's where things get crazy. Since he didn't reply for 3 minutes, she drove over to his house, broke into his house, and started screaming at him for not replying. He then texted her and said, that was completely inappropriate for you to do. I have a 3-year-old daughter. So for the next 5 years, she followed him to every job and even today, apparently she still does.
This is why you should never, ever ding-dong ditch somebody's house. See, back then it used to be fun and innocent, but with this story right here, everything has just changed. One day at night, a group of high school kids all decided to hang out and go ding-dong ditching. One of the boys was super anxious about going ding-dong ditching because he's never done anything like that in his life and he didn't want to get in trouble with the police or anything. The other 2 kids just thought it was super innocent to do and like, screw it, let's have fun. They decided to make the kid who had a lot of anxiety about it ring the doorbell, and they were all going to run back to the friend's house. The kid who was anxious to do it said, are you sure you want to ring the doorbell of the neighbor across the street? The 2 kids said, who cares, it's just an old man, it's not like he's gonna chase us. Here's where things get dark. So the kid walks up, rings the doorbell, and starts to run, but the door swings open and the neighbor grabs his arm. The other 2 kids run. It turns out the neighbor had been listening the entire time while they were plotting this. I'm running out of time, but as always, I'm posting part 2 right after this, so go check it out. Leave a like and a follow. This is why you should never, ever ding-dong ditch somebody's house, part 2. So after the door swung open, he grabbed his arm. The kid with a lot of anxiety was so scared and so shocked about what was happening that he literally started hyperventilating. The other 2 kids just left him there. The kid who was super anxious about everything managed to break free and ran straight to the house. As he was running, the neighbor stalked him and watched which house he went into. All 3 of the kids go to the parents and were like, hey, the neighbor just grabbed my arm because we were ding-dong ditching. The parents didn't really seem to care because the kids were wrong to begin with. So at around 1 a.m., all the kids decided, hey, let's all go to bed. That was super scary. We'll just call it a night. All 3 of the kids go to sleep in different bedrooms. As all of the kids were sleeping, they heard this bang and it woke all of them up, including the parents. So all the kids jump up and run downstairs to go meet, but the only one who didn't run was the kid who had a lot of anxiety. So the dad goes to check on the kid, and to his surprise, he sees the kid has been stabbed, and he looks out of the window and the neighbor is walking. This is the scary true story about why you should never, ever talk to a girl that has a boyfriend. One day, a guy was sitting in class when a girl named Tracy DM'd him. Her account was on private, but based on her profile picture, the guy thought she was really attractive. So the guy requested to follow her and shot her a DM and said, hey, you should accept my request. The girl replied, you're very attractive, but I cannot accept your request because I don't want my boyfriend finding out.
All girls are the same, man.
The guy thought it was very flattering of her to compliment him while she had a boyfriend, even though it was wrong. So while a lot of the small talk is going on, he finally ends up asking her if she wants to hang out at the beach at 11 a.m. She replies and says, yes, but I'm nervous. He says, don't be, we're just gonna hang out, and he pulls into this parking lot. Keep in mind, that's very important. He DMs her 5 minutes later and says, hey, I just got here, where are you at? She replies and says, great, I left something in the sand for you. So him kind of questioning it, he finds in the sand there's a Polaroid picture of his car that he just parked. I'm running out of time, but I'm posting part 2 right now, so go check it out. This is why you should never, ever talk to a girl that has a boyfriend, part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, go check it out. It's the video right before this. So she DM'd him back and said, I left something for you in the sand. He thought that was super weird just because that's so random, and he ends up finding a Polaroid picture of his car that he just parked. So he starts looking around like, whoa, like this is weird, I don't know what's going on. So he DMs her and says, where are you at? And she replied, go look. He thought it was bizarre that they were still DMing on Instagram at this point since they were supposed to be hanging out. So he went along with it and he was walking around the beach until he found something by the sand. It was a cardboard box, and inside of the cardboard box was a piece of paper. On the piece of paper it says, I left something for you in your car. So at this point he's kind of fed up because this girl is literally making him have a scavenger hunt for her. So as he's walking back to his car, he sees somebody sitting in the passenger seat. He sees the girl in the passenger seat dead with a note that says, cheaters never win. Make sure to like and follow if you guys want more stories. This is why you should never dig up a coffin. A guy named Alex, who was a recent high school graduate, decided that he wanted to start his own business. So he goes to his parents and tells them the idea that he has about a flowering delivering service. Pretty much if a customer bought some flowers, he would be the delivery driver to drop them off. After a couple months, the flower delivering service did not do as well as he planned. That's until a guy named Rick placed an order for $10,000 worth of flowers. So as he tells his parents that he just got this massive order for $10,000, he grabs $10,000 worth of these flowers on Valentine's Day and drives to Rick's house. And here's where things get weird. Alex goes to drop these flowers off. The man Rick hands him $10,000 in cash. Rick then says, I have a job for you and I'll pay you another $10,000. Rick then asks him to go dig up his mother's grave and take the $10,000 ring off of her. Alex, kind of eerie of it, decides to do it and starts digging up his mother's grave for 6.5 hours. He takes the ring off and sees this deceased woman move. He runs away and the next day the tomb is empty. Make sure to like and follow.
Here's the top 3 scariest moments caught on baby monitors, part 1. Coming in at number 3, this one's called the staring baby. So on the baby monitor, the baby kept hearing his name called over and over again. The baby then jumps up and gets out of his crib, and immediately just starts staring right in front of him. But the weird thing was, the parents weren't calling his name. Here's the picture that was leaked on the baby monitor. Coming in at number 2, this one's called the extra baby. Now this one is exactly what it sounds like. They looked at the baby monitor and watched the My bad, guys. No, but the parents looked at the baby monitor and realized that there was an extra baby laying beside theirs. So this is the video that was leaked. That's their little baby, and that is the extra kid. Imagine watching your baby sleep at night and you look at the monitor and you just see the neighbor's kids in the bed. Coming in at number 1, this one is the standing baby. This one scared the living crap out of me. I don't really have to say much for this video. I'm just gonna let you watch. Enjoy. If you want to see another top 3, make sure to like and follow. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your night. Welcome back to another top 3. Today we're going to be talking about top 3 scariest moments caught on a doorbell camera. You guys know those little ring doorbells? Well, they just got a whole lot creepier. Coming in at number 3 is called the clown. At approximately about 3:30 in the morning, this clown appears on the doorstep of this normal family. And literally what happens in this video is super scary. So if you're afraid of clowns, brace yourself. This clown just appears and just starts staring with balloons in his hand. And after about 10 minutes, he just looks and walks away. Coming in at number 2 is called the Peeping Tom. This one's more creepy than it is scary. At about 2 a.m., this 14-year-old girl was getting ready for bed when she had her window open and she saw this. It was a man staring in her window, and then he attempts to try and get inside of the house. He walks up to the door and tries to unlock it. This next one's just disturbing. For 3 hours, this man just licked the doorbell this entire time. Here's him doing it again. If you guys want to see more, like and follow. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your night. This is why you should always lock your door while you're driving. A man just got off work and was driving home. It was about 2 a.m. and he came across a red light. It was one of those red lights that sit for way too long. The man contemplated on running the red light, but he wanted to be a good Samaritan, so he said, I'll just wait it out. And this is where the story takes a very dark turn. So a woman sitting at a bus stop sees the man's car stopped at the red light, so she walks over to his window. The man then gets very worried as the woman approaches his window, and she looks at him and she knocks on the glass. The woman then signals him to roll down the window just like that. The man then rolls down his window just enough to have a small conversation. The woman looks at him and says, I've been beat by my husband, can you help me? The man looks at the woman and notices that there's no bumps or bruises, so he's kind of eerie about this. The woman says again, I've been beat by my husband, can you help me? The man just starts staring at this woman in shock. The woman then says the same exact thing over and over again. So as this woman keeps asking over and over again, the light suddenly turns green. The man looks at the woman and says, "I can't help you." The woman smiled and said, "You just saved your life."
This is why you should never run away from home. A girl named Rachel, who was 16 years old, had a lot of problems with her parents. Every day at school, she would run away and her mom would have to track her down to bring her back home. So one day, Rachel got inside of her car and drove 6 hours to Connecticut just to run away from home. She lied about her age and she changed her name and pretty much just started this new life. Here's where things get a little weird. So while working as a server for this restaurant, she ends up meeting this new guy that she thinks is cute. She ends up hanging out with him for the next few months and he says, "Let me introduce you to my parents." So she goes over and has dinner with his parents and everything's going smooth until the boy's parent says, "I have somebody I want you to meet." And little did Rachel know, both of her parents walked outside of the door and said, "Hello, Rachel." It turns out that the boy she met was a private investigator hired by her parents. So, moral of the story is, if you're gonna run away from home, please don't make friends. Make sure to like and follow. Here is the most haunted video game ever. This game is also known as Sad Satan. This video game was apparently leaked on the dark web, and what's inside of this video game will literally haunt you. This game has a couple different versions, one including the real version and the clean version. Apparently with the clean version, there's no gore and there's no pictures, if you know what I'm saying. But the dirty version has everything. The supposed creator for this video game is known as ZK, and currently ZK is facing a prison sentence for containing child, you know what I'm saying. And the craziest part about this entire video is nobody knows where the game came from. People think it was ZK since he was the first one to leak that he found it. I'm gonna go ahead and show you some leaked gameplay footage of this game. Tomorrow, I'm going to be playing this game. I'm going to be posting the full video on my YouTube channel. Click the link in my bio or type in Austinvro to subscribe. Let's get to 100K. I love you guys. Make sure to follow.